One of the best things about being a blockchain developer is that there's so many different ways to make money with these skills. In addition to landing a highly paid Web 3.0 job, you have open access to a permissionless financial ecosystem where you can do things like build trading bots that make you money while you sleep. But if you want to be successful at this, then you need to be strategic in how you do it. And in this video, I'm going to share one of the biggest secrets for creating a profitable crypto trading bot as a blockchain developer myself who has done exactly that. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory. On this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then make sure you smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. All right, so let's get into this. Let's talk about one of the biggest secrets to creating a profitable crypto trading bot. Now, for context, this is not the crypto trading bot you might be thinking of that's trying to predict the future cryptocurrency price. This is an arbitrage trading bot that finds opportunities that are profitable right now in the market. I did a whole video about this last week talking about how blockchain developers made $12 million with this exact strategy. You can go check out that video if you want a full explanation. But in that video, I talked about one of the best ways to create your own profitable bot is to create your own strategies. And I inevitably get the question all the time, like, well, okay, exactly how do you do that? And I'm gonna share with you one of the biggest secrets is looking what other profitable bots are doing so that you can model their success. Not necessarily so you can copy the exact same strategies, but so you can get inside their head and see how they think, and that's going to get the wheels going so that you can see what's possible, so how you can implement your own custom strategies. And in this video, I'm going to look at a transaction exactly just like that and analyze it so you can see my thought process and how I would do that. But if you really want to edge in this, then you need to make sure you sign up for the Trading Bot Masterclass coming up on this Thursday, April 13th. Inside, I'm going to show you how to create your own arbitrage trading bot with flash loans, how to create a searcher bot that watches for opportunities on chain. So make sure you sign up with the link down below to hold your spot before it's too late. All right, so now I want to break this transaction down for you. I'm just going to kind of do this in real time because I think that's the most efficient way for you to visualize exactly what's happening. So you can see whenever you look at these transactions on Etherscan, it shows you each individual step, but sometimes like it's really hard to even understand. So I'm going to draw it out on my whiteboard step by step so you can see. So the first step here is the flash loan. Again, this is where you're borrowing the money to do the arbitrage trade so that you don't actually have to have the funds in order to do that. And you can do that as long as you pay it back in the same transaction. You're seeing all the different steps here before the flash loan gets paid back in this last step right here. So this first part's borrowing the flash loan, and here's paying it back. So where does that come from? Well, it comes from Balancer, which essentially is a liquidity protocol that you can use to build other decentralized applications, okay? So this is essentially a liquidity pool where there's lots of funds sitting there so that you can use them for whatever you want to. And in this case, Balancer has the ability to take out flash loans. So that's the flash loan provider in this case. So if you were to visualize that, the first step in this transaction is that money is being taken out of a Balancer pool. That's the flash loan. And it's going to the bot itself. And in this case, it's borrowing USDC. And you can see that it is $216,748 of USDC. Now, of course, that's not all profit. Like this is just the money that's used to do the flash loan. And this results in the profit at the end, which I'll show you. All right, then once it has the USDC coin in its possession, we have to look at these next two steps. Okay, so what you're seeing here is you're watching token flows. So you're watching tokens go from the flash loan provider to the bot here, okay? And then once it's in the bot's possession, you can see the tokens move to curve.fi, and then, you know, from curve.fi back to the MEV bot. So it's like just, you can see the handoffs here. So from this person to this person, then it's from that same perspective from here to here, and then this same perspective starts here from here to here. So you can view these two steps kind of as all one step. Basically, these are a swap. You're watching this swap tokens. So in this case, it's USDC coin to Tether, which is USDT. All right, these are both stable coins, and it's important to understand what the app here is. So this is curve.fi. So this is Curve Finance, basically. Curve Finance is a decentralized exchange. You know, they started out kind of specializing in stable coins where you could swap stable coins for one another with very low slippage, very high efficiency. Okay. As you can see, you can swap for other stuff on here now, but that's kind of what they specialize in is low slippage stablecoin exchange. And that's exactly what we're doing here. You're swapping one stablecoin for another, which is something a lot of people don't consider in their arbitrage strategies. You're always thinking about like trying to swap for different volatile cryptocurrencies, but stablecoins can also, you know, be volatile slightly. Okay, you're talking about big enough size, especially with the slippage that happens across dexes. So if you're going to visualize this step on the screen, all right, then this is basically once it's in the bot's possession, they're sending USDC to Curve, and that's a swap, and it's returning USDT back into their wallet. I know this line's kind of swiggly. It was really hard for me to draw a straight arrow both ways, This diagram might get kind of messy, but that'll be sufficient for now. All right, and then the next step, all right, we've covered this step flash loan, the first swap on Curve. So once it's got the USDT, it then makes another swap on Curve Finance through a different liquidity pool, okay, for a different trading pair. Okay, so in this case, it's trading Tether USDT for wrapped Ether or WETH. So some people ask me, like, what is WETH? So basically, it's an ERC20 version of Ethereum cryptocurrency or Ether. So basically, you know, Ether is the native cryptocurrency of the Ethereum blockchain. You use it to pay for gas fees. You can use it in DeFi, but it doesn't really have the same type of programmability that an ERC20 token does, like USDC, for example. So you can't like approve your Ether to be swapped on an exchange. And that's what you use WETH for. It's wrapped Ether. It's an ERC20 version. Basically, you just send your Ether to the WETH contract. It turns it into an ERC20 token, and you can always get it back for any time you want to. So a lot of times when you're seeing Ether on these arbitrage transactions, it's in the form of wrapped Ether, and that's why. So it's important to understand why you see that. And it's usually almost always the exact same price at Ether at the time of the transaction. So if we're going to visualize that, I'll put this back on my screen here. I've color-coded these now to make it a little less confusing so that you can see these are different entities. Again, that's the flash loan, the first Curve swap. Now, note these are the same app, but different liquidity pools, okay, because that's how Curve works. This is our last swap, and here's a new one. So once it had USDT in its possession, then it swapped USDT on a different Curve pool for wrapped Ether or WETH. And now at this point in the transaction, it has WETH, and that's the only currency in this transaction that it's going to swap on a different application in the next step. All right, and so once it has wrapped Ether, it does another swap on Uniswap. So again, if you're not familiar with Uniswap, it's one of the most popular decentralized exchanges out there. Basically, almost any token that's out there on the blockchain, you can swap for any other token. It works just like a vending machine. You just put in one token, and it spits out another one. And so in this case, it is swapping the wrapped Ether for DAI stablecoin. So what is DAI? It's another stablecoin. It's a more decentralized stablecoin that's actually backed up by collateral on chain. It works a little bit differently from like USDT or USDC, which are a little more centralized in how they manage their reserves. The whole point is that DAI's value is backed by other cryptocurrencies that you can always like see on chain. So if I were to draw that on my diagram here, in this step, basically the bot has the WETH. It's giving the WETH to Uniswap, and then Uniswap is returning the DAI stablecoin back to its wallet. All right, so then once it has the DAI in its possession, it moves on to the last swap that takes place before we repay back the flash loan, and that's swapping DAI to USDC on Synapse. So what is Synapse? Well, it's a cross-chain communication protocol. So basically, if you want to move funds from one blockchain to another, you can transfer funds over like with the bridge. But in order to make these bridges work, you essentially have to have funds sitting on each chain so that like when you send it across the bridge, you're just locking your funds into one side and it's dispensing out funds on the other side. Okay. And so for that reason, like you could do liquidity pools there. You can swap out tokens this way as well. So that's what Synapse does. And that's the final swap in this case is we're trading, DAI for USDC. So my diagram that looks like this. Basically on Synapse, we're giving DAI and then we're getting back USDC. And then once it has the USDC from the swap, we're back to the cryptocurrency that we started with, okay? So the final step in this is to pay back the USDC that we owe for the flash loan. And you can see here at this point in the swap, we now have 218,264 USDC, okay? And if you notice at the beginning, we only took out a flash loan for 216,780 USDC, okay? So we have more USDC than what we started with, and we only have to pay back 216,780 to the flash loan provider. And so that's what we do right here. And then we just keep the difference in our wallet or our contract, okay? And that's the profit for this transaction. So that's the final step here, is basically to take this USDC, repay back the flash loan here, and pocket this profit that turns out to be $1,128.91 or 92 cents if you round up, even accounting for the gas fees that are paid to do this transaction. All right, so that's an overview of how this transaction works. Now, I know there's several steps in this, and this can get kind of complicated, but that's how you learn this stuff. You see what other people are actually doing that's really profitable out there in the wild, and that can get the wheels going so that you can start, creating your own strategies so that you can see what's possible. Because at the end of the day, all you really have to do is get more of the exact same cryptocurrency back than when you started with, and there's all these different creative paths and strategies that will accomplish this exact goal, okay? And so, a lot of this is just tweaking the variables that are out there so you can start looking for these types of things. Because again, in this example, we only really dealt with like 4 or 5 different cryptocurrencies, but there's thousands of different ERC20 tokens out there, okay, that are, sitting in liquidity pools that are ready to be arbitraged. And on top of that, there's other variables in the chain, like different dexes, right? We only dealt with like 4 different dexes in this case too. But if you look on a website like DeFi Llama, there's hundreds of dexes out there, okay? And there's 400 that have forked Uniswap version 2 alone, okay? So there's lots of funds that are sitting, waiting to be used in these different applications. And on top of that, there's about a dozen different blockchains that you could execute this strategy on, okay? We just looked at one blockchain in this video on the Ethereum chain, but there's lots of other arbitrage opportunities waiting, as you can see on this, by this pie breakdown here. And so lastly, if you want to learn how to find other people to model as well, then you need to join that trading bot masterclass I'm going to have this Thursday on April 14th. Inside, I'm going to show you how to create your own blockchain-based trading bot, how to create the searcher that watches opportunities in the marketplace, and I'll even show you strategies on how you can find other people to mimic to create your own custom strategies. So make sure you sign up for the link below before it's too late. So that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so then more people can learn about blockchain. And once you do that, of course, make sure you sign up for that link down below to hold your spot for the masterclass. I'll see you there.